You're live now. Wait, you need to put the timer. You're live. You're live. You're live.
Oh.
You're live.
I don't know why my thing is okay there. Oh, actually, switch up. Wait, let me remove
Yeah, put the timer.
that, and then hopefully now it seems like I was lagging as well.
Yeah, you're live.
Yeah.
Yeah, both internet problems.
What an amazing start. Um, uh, who cares about the timer then? Welcome everyone.
All right, we'll start.
Yeah, because I don't know why. Because even my internet was a bit
technical difficulties.
both.
Technical difficulties.
Yeah, but at least it's not technical difficulties for both of our teams this weekend. But I guess, how are you, Charlie?
All good. Yeah, look, a bit of a sticky start to the show. For those that don't know, backstage, I had internet
And it seems
problems.
like I had,
Then as soon as I fixed my internet problems, then 10 also then had internet problems
yeah,
as well.
refresh
So essentially, we did the timer. We weren't live. It then went live once the timer was done, and it took me a few seconds to realize 10 was lagging, and it was a bit of a mess. But anyway, we're here now. Hopefully, it doesn't crash again. But yeah, happy to be back on the show. Year of the Bird, of course, the Newcastle and Spurs show. Look, like you said, both teams ending off the week well, going into the international break. And yeah, this should be a good show. As always, guys, it's being streamed on both channels, Charlie's Take and 10 there as well. So subscribe to both if you haven't already. Get all your thoughts in the chat as well. And yeah, like the stream, of course, from whichever channel you're watching. And I see a couple of comments in my chat. Big up to FC25 joining as well every single time. I don't think it's come up here because it was from earlier. So I think sometimes chats expire. So I think that's why we can't
even my chat
can't see them.
It's not popping up. Today
Maybe
maybe
there's a problem with YouTube.
Probably, or technical difficulties. Let me see.
But yeah, apart from that, all good. So happy to be back on the show.
I guess, well, if I somehow can't get the comments up, we might as well get started with review of the game. We'll go with the one that happened on my birthday by technicality. It was the early kickoff. Leeds United 1, Tottenham Hotspur 2. I guess I will say my bit because I know Charlie watched more of the match. I think it seemed like Leeds United were probably, I would say, probably the better of the two teams, if you want to say that. But I do think that I think Leeds probably, I would say, a bit unlucky not to at least get a point in this game because I feel like they had really good chances. The first goal, which was, I know, from Matthias Tell, who I was told was one of the worst players. But he scored from the deflection, beating Darlow, and then who was it? Oh, it was Okafor in the second half, I believe, that scored the.
No, still in the first half. That was in the first half. Okafor,
and then second half, Kudos with the goal. So kudos to him with the goal. Oh, and Indonesia just scored 3-2.
Game on. Game on.
Like last minute or whatever from another penalty. But yeah, I think overall the game between Spurs and Leeds, I think, well, I know our predictions, we both said that Leeds and Tottenham ended a draw, which it could have, I'll be honest, because I think Leeds did perform well in this game, and they were unbeaten before this game at home. So I think it's a good point for Spurs because obviously Tottenham are in the top 4, as I believe.
Good 3 points.
So now Spurs are on 3 points. Well, 3 points more, and obviously, I think Spurs are likely looking set to do well for the rest of the season, I would say. As for Leeds, I think they were okay, but I think probably Spurs, I would say, I wouldn't say got lucky, but I think they were more professional and got the job done. I would say that's my take.
Yeah, I think that also. But can you see the comment now, 10? FC25 says big up Charlie, big up to FC25
Nope, I cannot
as
see
well. I don't know what's going on there. But basically, yeah, you kind of just hit the nail on the head with it. It was a performance where I didn't feel like we were amazing. I thought we were okay, is probably the best way to describe it. I think that Frank was better with his team selection. Xavi played in the 10. You had a doggy at left back. I wanted to see him get some more game time as well. So overall, obviously, Tell started up front. I wasn't too confident by that. Same with Odobert on the left. Our attack again looked weak. And obviously, you had Kudus on the right, which was obviously the best part of the attack. Look, it was good for Tell to get a goal. I thought that it was a deflection, but it was a clean strike. I think it was on target. And overall, hopefully, now it helps his confidence. Hopefully, now he, when he plays, he doesn't miss sitters like he did against Doncaster in the cup. So, look, it's good for him to get his goal. I'm happy for him, but I'm not going to go overboard. I'm not going to say that Tell he's this amazing player, because I still haven't seen anywhere near enough in him to warrant us essentially buying him permanently in the summer. Of course, after the loan last season. I'll be honest, like Leeds started well. They hit the bar early on, but I thought we grew into the game well. We started to get a bit more control. We started to create a little bit more. And obviously we got the goal. Should have made it 2-0. Kudus with a great chance after we broke away. Again, another chance that Spurs had on the transition, which, like I keep saying, this is where we get most of our goals, because I believe we're a much better counter-attacking team. And then look, they equalised. And to be honest, I know Leeds, they started the game well, but then I thought we kind of took a bit of control. Obviously, Okafor, look, I was annoyed that it was him, because this guy at Milan was awful. Same with Napoli. He did nothing last season. I'm like, we're getting dunked on by this Milan and Napoli reject. Like, come on. But I'll be honest, Vicario has to do better. He has to do better. Look, it wasn't entirely his fault. I thought the defense completely switched off to the rebound. Somebody should have been there to make a block or a clearance. But look, he basically parried it right in front of Okafor, who tapped it in. I think he needs to do better. And I don't like the way a lot of our fans are talking about Vicario, in the sense that everyone's saying, well, not everyone, but a lot of Spurs fans are saying, oh, he's shit, get this keeper out. Kinski has to play. I'm like, first of all, there are way bigger problems in our team than Vicario. Secondly, I don't think Vicario is that much of a problem, because yes, he needs to work on some of his distribution, but as a shot stopper, he's fantastic. And he's one of our best players. For me, he's someone that you can trust most of the time. I think he's in a bit of a sort of dip in form. Every player goes through it. So hopefully this isn't the norm, because yes, the last couple of games he hasn't been good, but fingers crossed this is just a blip. But obviously we'll have to see. Big up to LV3 in the chat. It's been a while. Great to see you here as well. I don't know if 10 can pull it up on the screen or not. Again, technical difficulties. Yeah, this evening. But big up to LV3. I see you in the chat. All good, man. All good. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, it's been a long time, man. So great to see you. Great to see you back. But yeah, like I was saying, it was good to get the winner in the second half. And I agree. Yeah, I agree with what LV3 says. Yeah, Vic, his reflexes are amazing. But yeah, he does need to kind of work on, like I said, his distribution, his kind of commanding from corners and stuff like that. If he fixes those things, he'll be complete. But yeah, like I said, for me, Vic has saved us way more points than he's cost us throughout his time at Spurs. I think that as fans, when you look at a player like Vicario, who's done really well for us, who's been one of the best signings we've made in recent years, for me, we can't use recency bias. You have to kind of take the whole time into account. But we'll see. We'll see kind of what happens, if this is just a blip, or that there's more concerns. But we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, it was good to get the winner in the second half. We obviously didn't come out particularly well. I thought Vicario, who did sort of redeem himself, made a really good save from Calvert-Lewin. Calvert-Lewin, the striker that can't score, only scores against Spurs, it feels like last season. Basically, yeah, great save. Leeds probably should have gone 2-1 up, like early on, first 5 minutes or so of the second half. But again, after a kind of dodgy start to the half, we got a bit of the grip of the game back, and we got back in front. Mohamed Kudus, and Mohamed Kudus is a player that I want to give a lot of credit to, because for me, he fully deserved that goal. It's a goal that's been coming for a few games now. I think he's been very unlucky not to score, and that goal was fully deserved. You know, great finish. Wins us the game, of course, with his goal. And overall, it was another great performance from Kudus. He's the only one really this season so far in our attack that's been any good, really. He's been not just good, he's been brilliant, I think, for us. What he does, his strength, his pace, you know, he can create. He's got already, I think, 5 assists at Spurs now. So he's been assisting. It's just that goal hadn't quite come for him yet. So I was really happy for him to get the goal. I think he's been a top signing for us so far. Hopefully he keeps up this form. Like I said, I really enjoy watching him at the moment. But yeah, it was obviously a hard-fought win. I thought after that, we kind of went a bit too deep. I think Frank kind of knew that, look, I think the reason he did it is because he knew that we aren't the best going forward at the moment, especially with the injuries and kind of the lack of depth we have there. He knew that, look, when we're in the lead, it's, you know, in this type of game where Leeds, they're going to try and make it scrappy. They're going to try and, you know, rough us up. It's better. In his head, he probably thought that, you know, it's better to drop deep and just kind of see it out, which it worked in the end. I thought after we scored, I know Leeds got more possession, but I didn't really think they created a lot, if I'm honest, and we looked reasonably comfortable defensively. So overall, it's one of those games where, look, it was good to get 3 points. It was a must win after the last 2 awful performances where we've somehow scraped draws in the 2 games before that. So yeah, Spurs back to winning ways. Like I said, credit to Frank for the subs. I thought the subs were much better in this game. Of course, brought in Danzo to go to a back 3 late on in the game as well. So yeah, overall a smart kind of performance from Frank, and a good win for Spurs. And obviously, like I said, not the best performance. I think overall, look, we have to do way better in a lot of games. I think that we desperately need some of our injured players back, and just in general, we need more quality in the forward line. The forward line is clearly is a clear issue right now, and you know, obviously, knock on wood, you know, hopefully Kudus doesn't get any injuries, because without Kudus, we are well and truly in trouble, because he's the only one that looks really I know Tell scored, and obviously it was good for him to score, but Kudus is the only one that looks super threatening in the forward line, and we need more. Look, eventually we might become too predictable. You see in games when teams sort of play a low block, we struggle. It was good to have Xavi in the 10, like I mentioned. Xavi, I thought, helped a lot. He's obviously much better in the 10, but I think he struggled at times, and I think he probably needs to bulk up, to be honest, because I thought, yeah, Leeds kind of brushed him off the ball a little bit too easily at times. But yeah, look, like I said, it's one of those where it's not a smash and grab or anything. I thought, you know, I didn't think, you know, we were super lucky to win or anything, but it's one of those where, you know, just a hard fought win, essentially, just, you know, get out of there 3 points, and we did that. So yeah, credit to Frank, credit to our players for responding to the last couple of games. But yeah, for me, we still have to do much better in a lot of areas. I think there's still things that are issues for us, especially with the injuries and stuff. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, it's great to know that Frank broke the curse of the international break. I don't get this. It makes absolutely no sense to me, but Spurs have this thing where since October 2023, we've lost every single game before an international break. And it doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know why. I think it's just been a bit of a coincidence, but I did read before the game that Frank had told our players that this is a thing, and he used it as motivation to for our players. And clearly it worked. You know, you can't argue it. It worked. We won the game. So there you go. But yeah, like I said, I'm not getting carried away. We have to do better. But overall, you know, you just take the win. It's one of those. So yeah, that's my thoughts on our win against Leeds. So yeah, 10, any other thoughts?
Yeah, I remember. I mean, I know Leeds got a few chances as well. I think there were a couple of times they were in behind Spurs. I remember just the highlights I saw. I think it was Dominic Calvert-Lewandowski, Lewin.
Well, he's Calvert-Lewandowski against us.
Except the game the other day.
except on Saturday.
But
Yeah,
I think overall, as you said, kudos. Well, we'll have a little segment near the end talking about our new signings, how we think of each of them, um, and I think kudos is probably at the moment since the start of the season. I think probably Tottenham's best player out of everyone at the start.
yeah,
Either him
yeah.
or I would say Van der Ven might be another one.
I'd say
And
Palini as
Palhinha,
well.
yeah.
Palini has been another good
And
signing.
Richarlison. Well, he's
Well, based on the first game, yeah, but apart from that, no, I'm really not convinced by Richarlison. I've said this many times. I'm not saying Kolo Muani's like the most incredible striker in the world, but when he comes back, I think he should start for me because I think obviously when Solanke comes back, I think Solanke is an improvement on Richarlison, but I think if you take all three of our centre forwards at their best, I think Kolo Muani's the best. Because if you look at his best, what he did at Frankfurt, why PSG paid, I think 80 million for him or something.
Juve.
Exactly, yeah, Juve or when he was on loan. So this is what I'm saying. When he's fit, and he should be after the international break, for me, he has to start for us. For me, in my opinion.
I think that will probably we'll see what happens because like it seems like your problem with Kolo Muani in terms of like he's not really getting any game time. I mean, first would be Johan Wissa, which we might as well get started with Newcastle United 2, and the team that scored 0 was Berganj. Oh, sure they are, mate. Nottingham Forest.
That's probably not an Australian accent I've heard.
It's probably not the best.
No, it's who we are, mate. We don't change, mate. I'm going to win the Europa League back to back, mate.
I mean, Forest, I know, just lost to Midtjylland, and that was before we did the last show. We didn't know Midtjylland would beat Forest, and then now they've gone back-to-back losses. Forest in the Europa League and in the Premier League on Sunday. But I guess my thoughts on the game of Newcastle United 2, Berganj 0, or Forest 0. I think, I'll be honest, I think it was first half kind of boring, somewhat. But I think we were the better team. But second half, I think it was just more pressure building from us. And then Bruno Guimaraes with the goal in like 10 minutes after or around the 60th minute. And it was a really good finish from him. And I think since that goal, I only remember one chance. Former Newcastle player Chris Wood kind of didn't really take his chance. He could have scored the equalizer from across from, I forgot who it was for Forest. But I think overall we probably were the better team throughout the whole game. And then obviously later on, Elliot Anderson, another former Newcastle player.
That was Agent Anderson.
Well, actually, there's a lot of Agent Newcastle, like Chris Wood, Matt Sells,
Agent Wood,
Anderson.
Yeah.
If long time ago it would have been John Joe Shelby and all.
John Joe Shelby.
But obviously Anderson gave away the penalty, so I think I don't know.
That was a terrible. Yeah. That was such a clumsy tackle. I'm thinking he's clearly because I've heard Elliot Anderson. He's like this boyhood Newcastle. So I'm like this. That's such an Agent Anderson situation.
He's like probably in his like in it. What do you call it? Maybe in his pocket, like the money. Oh, not that good. Probably I don't know something. But like in his heart, yes. Probably.
Yep.
Like so. And then obviously Voldemort is going against a former Newcastle player, Matt Sells, who wasn't good for us in the championship long time ago. But Voldemort has actually set a kind of new Newcastle record. First player to score in the first 3 home Premier League games since Alan Shearer, I believe. Though Alan Shearer's debut 12 home games in the Prem was 12, scoring in 12 games. So maybe it's a bit of a long way, but at least like if Voldemort was to actually match that basically means he's going to score against Tottenham in both probably the game later this month and December, because that's at least 12 within 12 home games. But overall, I think the performance, I think, was just more. I think we kind of, I was hoping and thankfully we didn't do what we did against Liverpool, didn't do what we did against Arsenal. Like, you don't have to go gung ho, make it 3-4-5. It could have been 3-4-5-0, but I'm fine with a 2-0 and all that. And obviously, I think Forest were not that good. I thought maybe someone like Igor Jesus didn't have the gods with him, um, because I think overall Forest didn't really offer too much apart from that Chris Wood chance and maybe one from Hudson-Odoi. But I think overall we were the better team, and at least we didn't concede in the last minute a winner as well. So yeah, I think overall it's our second home win of the season. But another thing to kind of talk about is everyone has played 7 Premier League games, and we have kept a total of 5 clean sheets this season, which means that Nick Pope, because he's playing all of them, is currently the Golden Glove contender, which I think now, I mean, we'll kind of talk about it in our new signings review, but I think Malachau is probably really gone really well for us so far. I know it's only been like a month or so, but he's done really well for us. I think I'm not going to say AC Milan made a mistake like they sold Tonali, because there'll probably still be time for Chow, and we'll see how things go with him. But so far, the partnership of Botman and Chow has been really good. The only issue, as always, I have is not Livermento, who is injured for at least 8 weeks or something. But Dan Burn at left back.
Yeah, that's a blow. Livramento was great at the start of the season.
Yeah, so I think seeing Dan Burn at left back, sometimes it works, but against probably the best teams, I don't know what's the next.
It depends if you put Dan Burn at left back. If you have a team that has somebody that's really quick on the right wing, then Dan Burn's kind of in trouble.
So I think hopefully Lewis Hall kind of recovers from whatever injury, because Lewis Hall hasn't really started the season particularly well, not because of performance, but because he's not getting game time, probably due to that long-term injury he had last season, and now Livermento's out. So I say the fullback position is probably the one we're most stretched by, and obviously you could kind of say striker, but we'll get to that later with Wissa. But I think overall this game against Big Ange, he tried to be you could say defensive.
Did Ange try to adapt? Because my question is,
it seemed like Forest were defensive.
Yeah, and you know what that means, 10? That means his job's on the line. Because when he adapted at Spurs, it was when his job was on the line. So, and we have a raid as well. Big up to Zirtalk.
Did Saudi Arabia win?
For the raid.
I actually didn't.
Yeah, Saudi. Yeah, he put Saudi W raid in the chat. Big up to Zirtalks every single time. Yeah, appreciate the raid. Subscribe to Zirtalks if you haven't already.
I might do a watch along for Saudi Arabia versus Iraq on Tuesday.
That will be the real part 2.
That will be the part 2. The game that sees Saudi Arabia qualify for the World Cup or potentially have to wait until at least November, more or less. But yeah, I probably would say that this game against Forest, against Big Ange, he tried to be defensive and still.
And that 10, I'm telling you, that means his job's on the line, because he did that at Spurs when it was kind of getting, very toxic and everything. He did adapt, and then he won the Europa League because he went super defensive. Yeah. So if I personally didn't watch the game. I watched the highlights, but I didn't watch the game. But if Ange went defensive,
the only time he
tried
went
to play traffic
attacking was 1-0 down.
That means, but 10, I'm telling you, this means that he's going to be sacked soon. I'm telling you.
No, because I want Spurs Forest.
He will be, because that's what he does. When what I've learned with Ange is when the end's near, he plays a completely different way to try and just desperately get a result and stuff. Yeah. So We'll see. Yeah, Zir Talk says shush in the chat. big up to Zir Talks every single time.
And
so we will be there
for
Iraq's win.
Vamos Iraq.
We'll be there.
That'll be a good game for sure. Because that's the
yeah.
Because Iraq will.
But yeah, basically.
Indonesia.
Yeah, I reckon Saudi will win. But yeah, just kind of my thoughts on the Newcastle game. I thought that I predicted 2-0. It ended up being 2-0. I said that you'd win 2-0, so I was happy to be right about that. Technically, you did score from a set piece because you scored from the penalty, which, by the way, that is a quality penalty.
Oh yeah,
I mean, Voltemade, that's as top bins as it gets, basically. So I was right about that. Listen, look, it was a win that Newcastle. I think that it took you guys a while to sort of get the breakthrough, but I mean, Bruno's goal was a great goal.
Yeah.
You know, kind of from outside the box.
Of the match. For us.
Yeah, Bruno. Yeah, from kind of watching it back, what I saw was Bruno. Bruno was the guy. Big up to Michael T as well, joining from Zir's channel. Yeah, Michael T. Subscribe to Michael T's channel if you haven't already.
Hopefully he gets to see
Michael T
go in the Champions. Don't worry, Michael. We'll also lose 4-0 away at Marseille in November. I know it.
Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, like I said, it was a good win for you guys. It was important. Look, I'll be honest. I'm not coming on here today like I was last week. I'm not last week I had a lot to say because obviously Newcastle's game was against Arsenal and I thought they cheated.
One, you're kind of happy that Big Ange lost.
So this this one's a bit different because I mean neither of us were playing Arsenal, so I don't have
one of us
was
able
to talk shit about them. But one of us was playing Big Ange, and look, I'm not hate watching Ange. Look, Ange won us the Europa. You know, I can't hate on Ange. Big up to Ange. But yeah, it is funny because what we're seeing at Forest is basically the same patterns as his time at Spurs in the league, conceding from set pieces, look wide open defensively, and just not having a backbone basically in a lot of games. And that's kind of what happened against Newcastle. I mean, for Ange, who claims to be this, I said this to you as well. For Ange, who claims to be this attacking manager, where was Forest's attack? They were nowhere to be seen. And look, that is credit to Newcastle. Because Newcastle did, like you said, 5 clean sheets.
The only time we conceded is, of course, Liverpool and Arsenal. Of all teams. And all of them were last minute, more or less.
And Arsenal, you should have won. Like I said, should have got that penalty.
Yeah.
He's like waving.
Oh, well.
Should have been a clear penalty. But basically, yeah, the defenses look good. I think Chow I said was a good signing at the time, but I felt he was nothing more than a good signing. I felt that he was a player that was sort of on his day was good, but was a bit inconsistent at AC Milan. He's come in so far. He's looked very good. He's slotted right in alongside Botman. I think that's a good centre back pairing. And we'll see what happens with the fullbacks. Obviously, it's a blow to lose Livramento and everything. But basically, yeah, Newcastle defensively, very underrated. I think they've gone a bit under the radar this season. And obviously, Voltemade scoring goals, apparently breaking records as well.
Yeah, even Isak couldn't even do that. Oh, wait.
Exactly. Isak, stinker and hooks as well.
And Liverpool lost.
So
we're catching up.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was a good win for Newcastle. I think that will probably see Ange get sacked soon, Marinakis and everything. No, he'll be gone he'll be long gone before that. Even if Ange stays for a bit, he won't be there in time.
Like, I don't know, whoever you have next.
Oh god.
Please.
He'll probably go to we have Villa next, so he'll probably go to Villa.
We'll see.
They'll sack Unai.
Yeah. I mean, at the moment they're doing okay, a lot better.
Yeah, they've got better.
Unfortunately, not
better, but basically, yeah, that's my thoughts on Newcastle.
And I guess now we can look at the Premier League standings, just how it is.
I hate that. I know it's only 7 games, but I do not like the table, and there's a reason. There's a clear reason why I do not like the table, but you'll see it once 10 puts it up here. Yeah, guys, keep smashing the likes as well. If you've joined from Zir's channel, big up to Zir for the raid again. Smash the likes up if you haven't already. Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, so top of the league, Arsenal.
Yeah. We're 2 points behind them, bro. I'm telling you, they will bottle it again. That's what they do. I know everyone's saying, "Oh, Liverpool are looking bad. Man City aren't the same team." Listen, Arteta is the biggest bottle job in the history of football. He will bottle it.
I mean, at the moment, when you think about Tottenham, or since the last international break and now, Tottenham have been unbeaten by technicality. I know it's like, what, 3 draws and 3 wins? Villarreal and 2 games
Yeah.
and 3 draws.
Well, here's the thing with this, 10, is that I don't know this for sure. I haven't read a stat that kind of says it, but I wouldn't be surprised whatsoever if this is like our longest unbeaten run for quite some time. Because think of, look, in the league, I know we were not losing in Europe last season. Obviously, we went all the way. So we weren't really losing any games. But in the league, every week we were losing in the second half of last season. Literally every week. So obviously there was no chance for us to have an unbeaten run. And just in general, Ange has just been, for the 2 years under Ange before Frank came in, it was just so inconsistent. With Ange, a loss was right around the corner, no matter what time or what form we were on. So Frank has come in, and I said this yesterday when I was on the Spurs Danalist. Big up to Dan for having me on his channel yesterday. That what Frank has come in to do is that he's kind of building from the defense. He's kind of saying that, look, we've been so wide open at the back the last couple of years. We've been so kind of easy to just play through, right, with the midfield as well. And he's come in and started to shore that up. Obviously, I know the concerns about our attack. I don't think we're creating enough chances, but he's come in and he's trying to get the defensive side of the game right first, which I think he has done. And I think he's done a really good job at it so far. And that's why I think you're seeing us get more results, because so far, I know it's still very early in the season, and I still think we are a massive work in progress. I still think there's problems, but I also think there's things that have massively improved already from last season. And we're getting results. We're not losing games. When we were, look, I know we only drew, which look, it's embarrassing to not beat bottom of the league Wolves, but we got a draw out of it. We got a draw from Bodo Glimt and we got a draw from Brighton, all from losing positions. And that is a big change in what we've seen, because clearly, look, even when we're playing like shit, which we have done like against Bodo Glimt and against Wolves, we are finding ways not to lose. We're not losing games at the moment. So hopefully it continues. Like I said, there's going to be much tougher tests to come. We've only played one Big Six team in Manchester City. So I think that, and we beat them, but then, we struggled against Bournemouth, who are level on points with us. So you could say that, look, we've had a relatively kind run of fixtures. I mean, we played West Ham. West Ham are awful. 1-3-0 and everything.
Well,
we've played Burnley.
Wolves and Man City were your 2 toughest games, but on paper.
Technically. So it is what it is. But like I said, we offer, after 7 games, the table means nothing. Come back to me in... Even after, I know it's only 3 more games. 10 games.
Probably after that's when you can kind of, like 15 points ahead.
Not. They won't be. They won't be. But anyway, basically, what I'm saying is with the table is after 10 games. So we're on 7 games. After 10 games, you can kind of say, look, you know where each team's going to sort of be in the league. But then, kind of taking actual kind of information from the table, you're looking at least Christmas time, really. If we're honest, kind of saying for me, and also in general, right? When you're talking about, the title race or the top 4 race, as people love to say, for me, there's no title race until April, May, and that's if a team hasn't run away with it. So for me at the moment, look, it's good we're third. It's good we're only 2 points from the top, but it's so early, and we have much tougher tests to come. But so far, overall, look, there's been some problems, especially in creativity and kind of some of the players we have in the forward line. But overall, I think Frank is doing a good job with what he has, and hopefully he continues it. Like I said, it's been a decent start. That's the way I'd describe it: a decent start, especially in terms of results. More often than not, we've picked up points. So hopefully, Frank, we'll see how it progresses.
Looking at your fixture list until the next international break, which would be 11 games into the season, Tottenham's fixtures from when the international break ends till before the next international break in November. So it's Aston Villa at home, Monaco away, Everton away, Newcastle away in the cup, and then Chelsea at home, Copenhagen at home, Man United at home. So, do you think?
That's what I'm saying. It
Yeah,
gets hard. It gets much harder than what we've had at the
yeah.
start of the
Even
season.
in the cup competitions, Carabao Cup and Champions League, you know, probably not Copenhagen seems like, but potentially Monaco. They got a draw with Man City, so I think that'll be perhaps tough. I would probably say Spurs by the time we get to the next international break. I think maybe be around Palace and Chelsea or like 6th, 7th. It seems like.
Well, it depends how Frank does in for example, the Chelsea game, because Chelsea, obviously, everyone knows that have been a massive issue for us for, to be honest, really the last 20 years or so. The team that we have I think Chelsea is the team we have the worst record against out of any team in the Premier League. And listen, Frank had a very good record against Chelsea at Brentford. He won like 3 times in a row at Stamford Bridge or something.
Oh,
yeah. So let's see what Frank does in the derbies, because Frank, for me, I have a lot more faith in him than Ange when it comes to these derby games, because obviously Ange lost every single one. So when it comes to Chelsea and Arsenal, I want to see us get results in these games.
Yeah.
I think that with Frank and his adaptable approach to tactics, I think it's very possible. So, but we'll have to see. And that will tell us a lot about where we are. If we see a different Tottenham in the derbies compared to what we did last season, then that's a big step forward for me. But we'll have to see. And obviously, for the table, look, Newcastle, you're not where you want to be.
I don't want to show. Okay, there, perfect. Right? Doesn't show.
Go up.
I told people about the team in 9th place. They have not. They
go up a little bit.
Fine.
Go up a little bit.
So, look. But to be fair, it's only like 2 points. But what a surprise! They played sort of money 6, the big 6, you can say, and lost.
The rich 6.
Yeah, they lost. So, like Sunderland's fixtures were.
They lost to Scammer.
Yeah, exactly. We managed to do the double over Scammer last season, and Sunderland, well, they can't even do it, obviously. But yeah, in terms of Newcastle, obviously, looking at how it is right now, wait, there, much better. Now I can see us top of the table.
Top of the bottom half.
See, top, bottom half.
But look, overall, we just I think both of us know that Newcastle, you should be way higher than 11th.
The losses were last minute. Some of the actually all of our draws have been 0-0. All of them were away. I don't know. We have a bit of an odd season. Like out of 7 Premier League games, 5 clean sheets. All of our away games in the Prem were 0-0 draws. And by technicality, what do you call this? We have yet to concede a goal away in the entire.
Here's the thing, though. It's like just kind of like what I said about Spurs is your defense has been playing well, but you need to show more up front, I think, in a lot of these games. But hopefully with Voltemada there, that will help. Obviously, you scored 4 goals against USG in the Champions League, so obviously that's encouraging. But yeah, basically, the way I look at it is you haven't had the easiest start in terms of fixtures. You've played obviously Liverpool, Arsenal, Bournemouth away is a really hard game. You see where they are in the league as well. So look, it hasn't been an easy start.
Let me see. Of the top 4, we've played everyone except Spurs.
Exactly. Yeah. So you've had technically right now, based on current form and table
of everyone,
you've had a tough start.
Yeah.
So I think that here's the thing, like. Obviously, there's been issues with Newcastle, like the whole Isak thing at the start of the season. So it's been
that's not an issue anymore, considering.
No.
How many goals?
It's been sort of a very up and down start to the season, but you have to get better. Like you have to be higher.
I mean, our next games, I have to remember who we play. I know.
I mean, big up as well in the chat. Big up to Orsham. I think that's how you say it. Big up to you. Says big up Charlie and 10. Great to see you joining as well.
Yeah. Our games before the next international break, or we have Brighton away, which we have a terrible record at. So you kind of know.
That's a tough game.
I mean, the last time we won there was in the championship. Mo Diame, I remember.
Is that the last time you won
Yeah.
away at Brighton?
Yeah, basically. It's
Wow.
either been a draw or they beat us, most likely. Most times it's a 0-0 draw. I think.
But I'll ask you this. I'll ask you this question as well. For those that don't know watching the show, we haven't really brought it up on this show, but 10 here above me had a problem with Eddie Howe last season.
God.
He wanted Eddie Howe out. He wanted Eddie Howe gone from Newcastle until he won the Carabao Cup.
Yeah.
And ended the trophy drought.
Yeah.
So I'll ask you this, 10. Obviously, Eddie Howe's, your confidence has been restored since the Carabao Cup. What would where do you kind of stand on Eddie Howe at the moment, especially in terms of the league and where you're at? What's your kind of thoughts on him at the moment?
I would say he's definitely put back a bit of confidence in me. Not going to lie. I would say the turning point was that cup final because I couldn't bear another cup final loss, just like how you would have. Imagine you lost to Scammerweb in the final, that sort of thing.
I'd probably be gone. From
but I think what do you call this? In terms of the cup competitions, considering we play Spurs, and I actually do think we beat you guys, I say I would love to see us win the trophy again. Imagine us going back to back. So I'll say try to win a trophy, even with Europe, because I think that's sort of the next level, you could say. Like, because last season we didn't have any Europe, so we didn't have to travel far. The furthest.
Yeah, you could kind of prioritize the Carabao Cup more, because if you're not in Europe, you can kind of you can play strong teams. You don't have to rotate as much.
Yeah.
But I think that squad-wise, you're definitely better. You're definitely better off now than the last time you were in Europe.
For sure. Because I feel like the past few windows, except this past one, it's been more ceiling raising and not floor raising. But this past summer was floor raising, basically. Getting rid of Longstaff, Wilson, a few others. But then bringing in, instead of a Wilson or probably Isak then, but Wilson, you replace him with Rissa and Voldemort. And then someone like Sean Longstaff, you replace him with Jacob Ramsey, who we haven't really seen much. But, and then in defense, we at least got a center back. And we got a goalkeeper, Ramsdale,
Cameradale. When you see Ramsdale play, I know he played one game against Bradford, but if you ever see him start for you guys, if Pope's not playing, watch him make the most easy save look like the hardest save in the world, because the ball will come straight at him. You think it's an easy catch, he'll do like a dive to make it look. He always did that at Arsenal, always.
Yeah, and then obviously we bought
Cameradale.
But I feel like the aim should be to retain the trophy. I think that should be now a realistic aim, considering I think we have a better squad probably ever since Mike Ashley and all that, probably since 2004, 2005, the team that made the UEFA Cup semi-final and lost to Marseille, unfortunately. Drogba! But because he did score the winning goal, I think. But I think the aim for the trophies, win at least one of them. Of course, I would love to win both. But I'll say win one of them. I'll be like, fair enough. But also, I think in terms of the league, you have to get into Europe again, because we have yet to qualify in back-to-back seasons in Europe. Because obviously the season we missed out on Europe, we finished 7th, and we had to clap Man United's FA Cup winner over Man City. And obviously, look what's happening with Mainu. He might join us, probably. But I think
is Mainu linked with Newcastle?
That's how much.
That would be a good signing. That would be a good signing.
So I think overall, my expectation: get Europe, actually go and win a cup. Try, don't make the one we just won back in March just like a one-off, and then wait like 5 years for the next one. I feel like
So basically, you're kind of like Eddie Howe has to win a trophy again.
Basically, but not in the too much pressure, I would say, in terms of like, 70 years and 1 year is a bit different, I would say, but
So you're right now, you're not Eddie Howe out like you were before the Carabao
because
Cup.
that's the pressure moment, the big game whereby a manager.
Which, by the way, I didn't think Eddie Howe was an issue, but yeah, you were showing some fraudulence back then. I remember. I was like, I know, I felt at the time you were being a bit harsh on Eddie Howe, but I guess in the end, look, he proved to, obviously win the trophy and stuff. So there you go. But I guess I mean, if I talk about Thomas Frank, kind of what I expect, I think for me, obviously, I want to win a trophy, of course. Am I expecting it necessarily? Like, do I think we will win a trophy? No, because I don't think we're good enough to win the Champions League or the league. And I think, look, with the cups, you never know. I mean, obviously, we've got Newcastle, which is obviously going to be a tough ask. But with the cups, you never know. If we get a good draw, I think we could do something. But yeah, this season, he deserves time to kind of gel. And then next season, that's when I'll kind of expect kind of like, trophies and everything. But obviously, I want to win a trophy. Obviously, if we don't, I'll be disappointed and annoyed naturally. But at the same time, I won't be necessarily surprised because also there's a little bit, look, there's always pressure, but there's a little bit less pressure because we have ended the trophy drought. Like we're not on this long drought anymore. Like we just got a trophy last year. So I feel, let's say if we don't win a trophy, obviously I'll be really annoyed and I'll be upset. But for me, it will be less so because we're not on this drought anymore. So at least there's that. But yeah, like I said, Frank deserves this season to, like I said, if I'm honest, I'm not really going to judge Frank much this season, if I'm honest. I think that next season is when you'll see, and I'm not saying trust the process or anything like that. I just think it's normal for a manager to come in and take time to sort of gel and get his, decide who he wants and doesn't want and everything, who he can trust, who he can't trust. So based on that, I think I'm looking more towards sort of next season. But this season, look, I said this already. I know everyone wants Champions League because of money and all of that. But for me, I even said this. If Frank gets us back into the Europa, I wouldn't be against that. Why? Because I believe we can win the Europa. And it would mean another trophy for us. Yeah. So I'll be honest. If we... this is obviously really early. But if we qualify for the Europa minimum this season in the league, then I'll be content. Because like I said, I believe next season we can go and win the Europa again. Because we've proven we can do it. So... yeah, just if it's another opportunity at a trophy, then I'm all for it. Because I think that we need to be realistic about what trophies are possible for us right now in the current state. And I think bring me another Europa, 100%. Bring me another Europa. Why not?
Yeah,
of course. Yeah, of course. So, but we'll have to see. But I guess we can move on to the final segment that you wanted to do.
Yeah, I mean, just very briefly, Champions League standings. Spurs in the next 2 games before the next international break. You guys have Monaco away, Copenhagen at home, Newcastle United. Actually, both of us are near each other in the Champions League.
Yep.
I know it's pretty early. Yeah. So we're catching up to Spurs. Should have lost to Bodo Glimt. We would have actually, had you lost to Bodo Glimt, we would have been above Spurs. Actually.
Well, I'll be honest. I said this with the Champions League. Our 2 Champions League performances have been bad. We should realistically be on 1 point rather than 4. I mean, I think we're very lucky to have 4 points, if I'm honest.
So right now, based on our end for Newcastle, we have Jose is coming back to St. James's, who he's had only 1 win in however long in his managerial career. Coincidentally, it was with Tottenham. I think it was 3-1. I think it was.
Yeah, in lockdown. Yeah, I remember. Son Kane scored.
I think Wilson scored for us.
And then,
or was that?
No, do you know who scored for you guys? It was Matt Ritchie. It was actually a really good goal. I remember it. Matt Ritchie. It was like a screamer from outside the box. Yeah. And then obviously we went and made it 3-1 after that. That was the old Newcastle, guys. That was when Newcastle were.
And this is now Jose Mourinho's return to the new Newcastle, and we host Athletic Club. And when you think about it, if you look at the table, I have to scroll all the way down to see our opponents because Copenhagen 28th, Monaco 30th for Spurs, Newcastle we have 33rd and 34th, both on 0 in the Champions League.
I think obviously in the next show we'll kind of talk about the preview for our upcoming Champions League games because they will be in the next 2 games before the show after the next one. But basically, both teams at the moment are in a decent position. But it's only 2 games. I mean, this table means even less. The Champions League table means even less than the Premier League.
Yeah, because I think right now,
you can't read into this too much. Like Karabag are on 6 points. Let's be honest. Karabag aren't.
To be fair,
your hate watch is ripe. Right?
We're above
your hate watch is.
We're both above
your hate watch.
Oh, we're above Barcelona, Liverpool, and Chelsea.
Your hate watch is right with Liverpool. I know.
and considering
you're gonna remember the Isak stuff. I mean, I would too. I mean, speaking of hate watches, I mean, my hate watch. I didn't watch the game, but my hate watch of Arsenal was unsuccessful in terms of them beating West Ham. But what was successful was Eze missing a sitter from an open. I don't know if you've seen it. He missed a sitter, basically an open goal. So that part was successful of hate watch.
Yeah. So now we can, because it is early in the Champions League, we can do the what do you call this? A little segment because. Obviously, we can preview the.
Look, it's international break, so there's less games to talk about because obviously the next show will kind of do the previews for our upcoming games
and for us Benfica and for Spurs Monaco, which we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll talk about that next week on the next.
But I guess this segment is what do you call this? New signings review. So basically. I hope I have all of our new signings, or at least the major ones. I think we have 6 new signings in the summer. I would say maybe give it out of 5, like 0 out of 5.
Out of 5.
Just to make it easier, because making it like, 11 over 10? Was that the meme? The one that Strasbourg Steve has? But
no, that's 16 out of 10.
16 out of 10. Okay, well, it's not 5 out of 5. It'll be 16 out of 10 for any player that we think. Actually, we'll give it to only one player, the 16 out of 10, whereas the others could be like 4 out of 5 or whatever. But we'll start from the back and finish in the front with Ramsdale.
I literally just clocked it. Yeah, nice one.
Ramsdale.
Start from the back then. Ramsdale.
How many new signings, major signings, do Spurs have?
I can get it up.
I think we have 6.
I know who we signed. I'm just getting it up so I don't miss anyone.
I think we have 6 major signings. But I guess I'll start.
We have.
So Ramsdale, I mean, he's only played 1 game against Bradford. He was okay, but he did concede a goal, even though it wasn't really meant to be a goal because it was handball. But I probably would say Ramsdale, 3 out of 5, 2. I'll say 3 out of 5. Actually, no, 2 out of 5 because he didn't keep a clean sheet against Bradford. I'll do that.
Yeah, look, it's tough with him. He's your backup keeper. Yeah. Obviously, Pope's the number one. He's only played 1 game, but because he's an ex-Gooner who took the absolute piss when he was there, basically being a prick, because he is a prick, Ramsdale. I won't forget kind of, him being at Arsenal and stuff. So for that reason, I'll give him a 1 because Ramsdale deserves a 1.
To Bradford. I guess we can go back and forth. So I'm trying to think defensive.
Yeah, so Or we can do, yes, just do Newcastle.
Okay,
first,
so
and then we'll
Malik Chow, contender for 16 out of 10, but I'll say 4 out of 5. I think he's probably been a very good addition to our team. I think I would say gives us a lot more confidence at the back. Now we can say we have, well, by technicality, 5 center backs: him, Botman, Byrne, Fabian Schär, and Lascelles. So I would say at least the center back pairing, more or less, is kind of settled, because now we've been starting Chow and Botman. That's been good. But even before that, we've had Byrne and Schär, who've also been good. So I'd say Malik Chow, 4 out of 5, and obviously kept a few clean sheets already for us.
Yeah, he's been good, Malik Chow, so far. Like I said, I thought he was a good player at Milan, but he was a bit inconsistent. Yeah, I'll probably give him a 5 so far. I think. Yeah, that's true. But I'll probably give him a 5 out of 5 so far, based on what we've seen so far. Obviously, that can easily change, like all of these players throughout the season. But I'll probably give him a 5 so far. Hasn't put a foot wrong, and he's coming, and your defense has, massively improved. So I'll just say Chow's so far in the few games that he has played has looked a really good signing so far. So I'll give him a 5. 5 out of 5.
The next player, I mean, there's not much to talk about. Jacob Ramsey, not Gordon Ramsay. Hasn't really been cooking because he hasn't played.
Yeah, he's not Ramsey's not cooking.
The last time he played was the league's game, basically the 0-0, where he got injured. So he's only actually played 2 games for us. I guess 1 out of 5, just because I barely seen much of him so far. Jacob Ramsey. And what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I haven't seen him at all. He's barely played. I'll probably just give him 2.5 straight down the middle, because he hasn't played. Just 2.5, just straight down the middle. He hasn't played. That means he hasn't been good or bad. So yeah, just 2.5.
And then the next one on the wing. This one people could say 007 or whatever. Anthony, not Gordon. Anthony Elanga. So far, I think his best game for us was the Union game in the Champions League.
Yeah.
But even against his former club, Forest, didn't really. I mean, had pace and could put some crosses in, but I think he hasn't had a goal or an assist, I believe, in the Prem, as far as I know. I mean, he could have had in like the first 10 minutes in our opening game.
Should have had.
So I'd probably say 2 out of 5. I've not been impressed with Elanga, but I would say, thank God it's not Miguel Almiron.
Elanga, I'll be honest, Tan, this might be a bit harsh, but I've been not impressed at all. I think he's been a waste of money so far. And I kind of had the suspicion when you bought him. Look, overall, Newcastle, since the takeover when they've spent big, they've usually got it right with Tonali, with Bruno, with Isak. Although I shouldn't probably mention Isak, to be honest. But basically, when they've spent big money, they've often got it right, and they've brought in some top players. But Elanga for 55 million, I knew it at the time. Newcastle for me could have done better. Newcastle for me could have got somebody much better on the right wing. I know you guys were sort of getting rejected for whatever reason, but I still think that there's players that you probably could have got for cheaper that I think would have done more than Elanga, if I'm honest. With good scouting, I think you could have definitely got somebody that's more worth it. For me, look, Elanga on his day is a good player, but for me, for 55 million, nowhere near worth it. I think so far, no goals, no assists, and he should have had goals. He's missed some clear chances, especially in that Villa game. Went through 1-on-1, should have buried it. So far, look, all he's been is just kind of pace, really, and just nothing at the end of it. So for me, I'll give Elanga a 1. I've not been, especially for the money you paid for him, I've not been impressed so far. But like I said, for every player, this could change. Elanga could kind of get better throughout the season, but so far, I haven't been impressed.
The next one, I mean, there's nothing even to say. Rissa, nothing. I mean, he hasn't actually played. The last time he played was with DR Congo, and he's actually gotten a setback.
Yeah, he got injured, and then now he's out until after the November international break? Is that right?
Or the earliest hope is probably Athletic Club, which is in 2 weeks. No, start of November, so 4 weeks, more or less. Yeah.
But basically, Visser, look, we know Visser was a great player at Brentford, a good striker. I think he will be a good signing for Newcastle once he's not injured, essentially.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think his rating will go up. But for now, I'll probably it has to be 2.5 just because he hasn't played because of injury.
He
sadly.
actually hasn't even played. And then my 16 out of 10. I hope I have all the players we signed. 16 out of 10. Nick Valdemada.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, I mean,
16 out of 10
yeah,
so far.
every home game in the Premier League scored a goal. Had he scored against Barcelona, maybe we would have gotten something in that game. I've been impressed. Hopefully, this is not just a purple patch. Hoping. And let's see if I think it's Karl-Heinz Rummenigge. I think it was him, the Bayern president. I'm sorry if Zia or Liam is watching, but so far Valdemar is.
Oh, that guy! Yeah, that guy doesn't. He keeps talking. This guy.
Especially to a German player as well. Like, could have been fine if it was any other player, but a German player, and obviously, I believe Valdemar is not in the squad for Germany with a flu, but thankfully it's an international break, so he has time to recover. But so far, so good. 2-headed goals and a penalty, and also a very good goal in the Champions League against Union. So I think you could see potential lethalness whenever Wissa's back, because I think you can see the link-up play. I think his link-up play so far has been better than what I've seen with when we had Isak. I think his link-up play is better than Isak when we had Isak, obviously. So who knows? Maybe in some games, whenever he comes back, maybe it's Valdemar as a supporting striker and Wissa as the center forward or something like that. Like
well, Visser can play on the left as well. So.
And you can put Gordon on. Well, actually, I don't like Gordon on the right, but something like that. So I think we will continue to turn it around, considering we have a good run of games now. The next sort of super difficult by name is Man City, but that's after November's international break. So Valdemar, 16 out of 10.
Yeah, Valdemar has been fantastic so far. I mean, even the penalty, like top bins, like that is one of the best penalties I've ever seen. Genuinely, like just put it right in the top bins. So, yeah, Valdemar is the 16 out of 10 for Newcastle. Been the best signing so far. Has made the biggest impact. Yeah, like he's huge, isn't he? He's obviously going to win a lot of headers. And hopefully he keeps it up. Obviously, he had a good season for Stuttgart last season. So we'll see kind of how he takes to the Premier League. But so far, so good. And I think that, yeah, I'm a fan of Valdemar. I think he looks like a good player and the early signs are good. And obviously, like you said, he's broken that record about, having the goals, in first 3 home games and stuff. But essentially, the Bayern president, like, I can never remember his name.
I think it's Karl-Heinz Rummenigge that said it.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
I think
this guy at Bayern. Yeah, he's talking shit. He's probably just salty that Bayern got rejected again.
I think it was him, but I might be wrong. I would have to.
Yeah.
Whoever it was. Karl-Heinz Rummenigge. Basically calling Newcastle idiots for paying that sort of money. I mean, sure, because Bayern have done very well so far this season, but by Newcastle standards, Valdemar has been really good for us. So we'll see how. I mean, you expect Bayern. We might as well say congratulations to Bayern for winning the Bundesliga, but obviously the big
he's just salty. He's salty.
Yeah, because come on, you have Michael Jackson as one of your backup strikers.
Jackson.
I mean, yeah, but I guess we can move on to Tottenham's new signings and how they've done so far. So we can, just like we did with Newcastle, start from the back, finish at the front.
Oh my god. Well, I guess we'll start. So, starting at the back, we signed a prospect, Kota Takai from Kawasaki Front from the J League. Apparently one of the better players in the J League, only 20 years old. Right at the start of the window we signed him. I haven't seen him play yet. He's been injured, so he hasn't played any games. So yeah, I can't really rate him. So just 2.5 down the middle. I'm guessing you're the same.
Not applicable.
Yeah, NA. He hasn't played. He's been injured, and he's a prospect signing. We'll see. I don't know how good he is. I've never seen him play. Apparently got J League Player of the Year or something. I mean, so it seems
in Asia,
like
that's pretty good because the J League is
So
J League and the Saudi League are probably the two best in Asia.
Yeah.
So I think
so he seems like a talented player, but again, we just don't know. Like we haven't seen him. So yeah, I just can't really rate him. And then moving on, kind of upwards to the midfield, we will go to João Palhinha. For me, this has been a top signing on loan from Bayern with the buy option. Hopefully, we get him permanently soon. 3 goals already. He's actually proven a bit of a goal threat. The number 6 that we've been crying out for so long, we finally don't have just this giant hole in our midfield anymore. When Palhinha plays, the midfield is much better. Really good number 6, wins all the tackles, just adds a bit of steel in there. Obviously, like everybody knows Palhinha from obviously when he was at Fulham and at Bayern, he just never really got the game time. But yeah, for me, he's been a top signing so far. So I'd give him a 5, to be honest. What about you, Tim?
He's my 16 out of 10, basically. I think.
Oh, he's your 16 out of 10.
Yeah, I mean, the other contender for me would have been Matthias Tell. I mean, I'm kidding.
Oh my God.
I'm pretty sure I know who's your 16 out of 10, but
yeah.
I'd probably say Palhinha because he's obviously saved Tottenham in a few games, scored against Man City, saved Spurs in the game against Wolves. Of all teams, imagine being saved by Palhinha against Wolves. But I think he's been probably Tottenham's best signing, and considering that last season with really bad defensive record and all that, I think Palhinha helps the team out in terms of the defensive stuff. I wouldn't say he's as good as Sandro Tonali because I think Tonali is the best in terms of that number 6 position, but I say Palhinha at Spurs has so far been really good. And maybe just his time at Bayern wasn't really worth it.
We never played at Bayern. He never played.
Yeah,
he never got the chance. And
so
obviously he's proven at Spurs with the game time
and the goals.
He's a top player, apparently,
and the goals as well. So 15 out of 10 is my pick. He's my
nice. Yeah, Palhinha. I'm giving him a 5 out of 5. Been a fantastic signing, which moves us on to the forward line. We will start with Mohamed Kudus, which is my 16 out of 10. Has had the biggest impact on our team so far. He's come in, he's hit the ground running. Obviously, to get him off West Ham was funny to see their tears and everything. So
got a goal or an assist in that 3-0 against West Ham.
I don't think so, but he should have scored at the end. He was.
Imagine if he scored and celebrated with, I think his celebrations usually
with the stool. With the stool.
Imagine
like he did at Leeds. He sat on the stool.
Imagine he used the same stool he had at West Ham and he played for West Ham. Oh, the burn! Imagine he used
that would be amazing.
That he sat on in some of his West Ham celebrations. Oh, I think that would have been the coldest celebration ever. I would say, but I would say he's 5 out of 5, 4 out of 5, that sort of thing. I think he's done well. Obviously, scored the winning goal against Leeds. So I think he's probably been just like Palhinha and Matthias Tell, Tottenham's best signings.
Yeah, obviously, for me, Kudus is the one for me. I forgot also kind of midfield / forward line, Xavi Simons. Yeah. Xavi Simons, of course,
he's
a player that came in. No, he's not a left winger. He's a number 10. He has to be. Xavi Simons, for me, I would give him, I would say, a 3 or a 4.
Yeah.
I think that he's been good. You can see his quality on the ball. You can see that he can develop into a very good player as well. But at the moment, I still think he's adapting. I still think he has to get used to the physicality of the Premier League. I think that he needs to keep up with the pace as well. So far, a little bit hit or miss, but I think he's adapting, and I can see that he is a good player with his quality on the ball and everything. But yeah, for me, needs to improve in a few areas. So I'll probably say a 3 at the moment.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, I haven't really seen much. I don't even remember if he scored or assisted in any game.
Yeah, he assisted against West Ham. Against West Ham,
he's not on course of 007.
He's not 007, though.
Yeah, or maybe in a few games, but unlike Isak, never mind. But in terms of the plan or Champions League, but I would say Simmons. Yeah, I think part of the reason why he hasn't done super well, because let's say at the end of the window, we would have said Simmons would have been the 16 out of 10 player. I would probably say, because obviously the hype around him.
But he might be. Give it a few months,
yeah.
and he might be. We'll have to see. Big up to Scott M in the chat as well. So big up 10 and Charlie. Great to see you in here as well. But
go Canada.
yeah, so moving on, I guess, to
so Simmons 3 out of 5
as well. Yeah, Simmons 3 out of 5, and then kind of forwards. Kolo Muani hasn't played. He only played like 5 minutes against Villarreal. It's just a 2.5 straight down the middle. Haven't seen him play.
Sometimes I even forget.
And then I guess. Yeah, no, he just hasn't played yet. But I guess you could count Tell, because Tell, I mean, he was there last season, but we bought him permanently. Yeah.
So let's say in the context of buying him.
In the context of buying him since then, 1, just because of the 1 goal he got. If it wasn't for that 1 goal, I'd give him a 0.
And even that was a deflection.
Yeah, he's not been good.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has not been good.
That kind of shows why he wasn't included in the Champions League squad. Because maybe you would have thought, oh, maybe he would have been in, but maybe there's a reason why he's not that good. That's why Bayern let him go as well. But yeah, I probably would say, because of the goal, 5 out of 5. I will say 1. I'll say 1 out of 5, even though considering he isn't even in the Champions League squad at the moment. So that's my review of the new signings for Spurs as well.
Yeah, that is our ratings of our both clubs' new signings so far. Get all your thoughts in the chat as always. And yeah, I think that pretty much wraps up everything. Doesn't it?
So yeah, I guess a lot more shorter than last time. That was like almost 2 hours.
Yeah, because I went on an explosive rant, as they say.
Yeah, but today both of us win. Get to enjoy the international break. Get to see probably Spain score 12 or 7 against Georgia on Saturday, whereas Italy, I'm not sure. But we'll see.
Bro, we'll see. I mean, Italy that's a whole nother different stress I have to deal with now.
Yeah.
So.
But obviously, in terms of my next shows, well, there's no La Liga show, obviously, because it's international break. So I guess my next show probably might be a watch along. I'm not sure if I really want to. There's a Philippines game tomorrow, but it's at 11 in the morning. I could do it, but at the same time, it's against East Timor. Like,
yeah, you should. Yeah, they should win, right?
So it's a double header. Thursday and Tuesday we play them for the Asian Cup, the one that Malaysia could even field actual players. But and then I think I'll also do, I guess for sure, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, just to see Zia Talks is.
Yeah, we will be there. We will be there.
But yeah, big up Charlie for joining, and yeah, shout your channel out.
Yeah, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Subscribe to Tens as well. We're being streamed on both channels of this show. So yeah, subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, looking forward to the next show. Obviously, there'll be no La Pina Rosa because of international break. And then next Thursday to the normal time. Obviously, this show is obviously at a different time. It's couldn't do tomorrow. But yeah, essentially, show will be back to normal time next week, 5 p.m. UK time on Thursday. At the moment, unless something changes. But yeah, apart from that, thanks for having me on as always. And yeah, another good show.
Yeah, really good show. And yeah, I guess we'll see you guys in the next one. When Saudi Arabia have failed to qualify for the World Cup directly. Vamos Iraq, if Zia Talks is watching. And Newcastle will win.